Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience as I got my technology together this end. I'm so excited to be here with you all. And thank you for sharing a little bit in the chat bar already where you're from, what you're doing. We've got all of these incredible people in the room: Gigi Love, Deborah, Mark, Tara Jade, Karen, Jennifer Goodman, Jean, Nadine, oh, bless you, Suzanne, bless you guys, Sherry, Marilyn, wonderful, and people making connections in the chat bar. Gosh, I love that. Yes, fantastic. We are, there's Devi in Mexico. We are working here at Radiant Body Yoga on a new community, on a new app where we can connect in greater and greater ways. And we've been just so excitedly working in the background to make this happen. So coming soon. Let's come sitting up nice and tall, and we'll dive into the topic of the day. So grounding through your sit bones, lengthening up through your spine. Begin to deepen your breaths. Just coming fully home to yourself. I'm going to chant the Guru mantras. You can chant along with me if you know them, or you can listen if you don't know them. And it's a way of recognizing the creative energy, the sustaining energy, the dissolving energy of life, destroying, you could say, energy of life. Dissolving feels softer to me. And then that aspect of us, which I'm going to speak to today, that aspect of us that is the one that is calling upon, that is attuning to the source of radiance, the inner radiance that is connecting to the greater radiance of life. And we reference this in Asatoma Satgamaya. May I move from unknowing to knowing, from darkness to light, from my finite self to infinity. And Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. May our time together be filled with tejas, with luminosity, with inner strength. May we be victorious in our time together. May it illuminate essentially our hearts and minds so we see more clearly, we experience more deeply, we feel more fully the essence of ourself and the way that we connect with all beings through this great unifying field. So we'll start there. 3 ohms, the third one pitched a little bit higher. Inhaling. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Wonderful. So, welcome. Our topic really is, the bigger topic is awakening the radiant body and embodying light in times of change. The radiant body is that essential essence of self. It's the primary radiance, the radiance of all radiance. And that's what we're looking to embody. That which, as it says in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, when we do breath work, we dissolve the veils that cover the inner light. That inner light is the essence of who we are. If we look at all the different facets of radiance, all the different qualities of radiance, it's like there's a sun that's beneath all of those qualities of radiance. And that's what we're looking to tap into within ourselves. That light, that presence that once lit meaning it's always there, it is always lit, but once our attention has landed with this space, that once there, it never leaves again. It stays in this center of the pulsation of radiance that is you, that is me. We are made of light. This light has consciousness. This light is a reflection of pure consciousness. And when we can embody this space, as stated in the yogic texts and over again in so many different ways, when we can truly embody this light, we become unshakable in the forces of change. And so how to embody this light, how to access this light so that it has this quality of never going away. There's a great word used in one of the beautiful suktas, part of the Rig Veda, the oldest of the yogic texts, and it's a prayer to Lakshmi, who is the embodiment of all that is fruitful, all that is golden, all that is lustrous, all that is an emanation of wealth, spiritual wealth, and wealth on all levels. And in the call to her, it says, bring me that which once it comes or goes. Bring me this level of awareness of myself, that once it comes, it never goes. It is established in me. So I want to stop just for a moment there so that we can close our eyes and just feel for a moment within yourself. There is this knower. There's a knower within you. There's a knower within me. It is not your acquired personality. It's a knowing. It's an essence. Can you tap into that knowing, to that essence? And can you do just a little calculation for yourself right now? If you were to determine the voltage of your inner light in your life right now, how strong, how present is this inner light in your life right now? And what are the things that dampen your connection to this inner light? And what are the moments where you feel the most connected to this inner light? Beautiful. We're going to come back to that in a minute. and 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 uh and tune in and see, okay, do we feel like we are living to our full potential? And if not, why? And if we're feeling disconnected in some way, or if there's something that's dampening our inner light, we want to know what that is. Is there a conversation we're not having with somebody that's preventing us from showing up in our full radiance? Is there something that we need to do that we haven't been doing that is preventing us from showing up in our full radiance? So it's starting to tune in and understand, where am I blocking myself from really stepping into this next phase of our being? Because the thing about maintaining our light or staying connected to our light in the midst of change is that change is always going to happen, and change happens. It's a part of life, and it's a part ultimately of the evolutionary force of life. Now, that essence of light within us is the desire to grow, the desire to evolve. It's like consciousness itself that is born within this three-dimensional reality, that has a desire to grow through this dimensional reality, to evolve itself through the mechanism of the human being. That's built into us, just like it's built into all of nature around us. And we see nature constantly adapting and evolving. And we can be adapting in a maladaptive way, right? As many of us are doing these days, adapting to more time on our phone, adapting to normalize stress, to normalize dysfunction. That's an adaptation, and a devolution, you could say. Or there's this continuous opportunity that's present for us to be evolving ourselves. Without change, we wouldn't be evolving ourselves. Without disruption, you could say, which now we are clearly in an era of disruptive energy. And disruptive energy can be extraordinarily fruitful if we can maintain that connection to our inner knowing, so that knowing becomes the guiding force. And we can start to walk the path of our life in relationship to the knowing, with awareness of the different maladaptive tendencies that we have, which are our coping mechanisms to help us to deal with the discomfort of the disruptive forces that are present. Wow. You're right. And we are conditioned culturally so often to take those maladaptive ways of dealing with the stress and dealing with the change. Wow. Well, what if we as individuals in a community just keep coming back to that essence of self, to this source energy that is desiring evolution, that is desiring us to stand so firmly in our inner light, that every step that is taken is an embodiment of that light, further and further and further. And an understanding that when we come into this world, there's like a pristine quality to our energetic field and our energetic resonance. Sure, there's little deposits in there of karma that we come in with, uh, from a previous life. This is the understanding within the yogic tradition. So that those karmas, those subtle patterns in the field when we come in, start to churn, and then more subtle patterns grow, and then we're conditioned by our family, by our culture, by circumstances in life, and more of these little patterns are forming in the energetic field. When disruption comes into our life, it gives us an opportunity to spin the things that are in our field and just see, okay, what is dysfunctional and how can I move more into a super functional way of being in my life? Where am I spinning out of my center, out of my radiance? And where can I spin in the direction of this evolutionary emergent consciousness to allow it to begin to flow through me? So recognizing that this is these are the choices we have, that this is the process of change. Okay, so then as yogis, we understand we want to keep our inner light radiant and connected. So whatever practice we can do to supercharge our system and neutralize the effects of disruptive energy on our nervous system, on our energetic body, on our mind, so that we can lean into the evolutionary nature of life and the possibilities that exist there. Like, that's what we want to be looking at. So therefore, we have to be in a consistent process of getting still, getting so present that we're willing to look at what is uncomfortable for us in the moment and ask ourselves why. So that every time we are about to take the maladaptive practice of distracting ourselves from the moment, or choosing to look away, or spinning into polarized reactive way of thinking, being, can we in those learn in those moments to really sit in the disruptive nature that's happening around us, the forces of change, and tune into what is true for us, not what's coming from the fearful place, not what's coming from, different ideas and reflections of the outer world. No, what's true for us in the moment, and then what's the next right evolutionary action for us in that moment. And this is part of the teachings of yoga, to keep the palette clear and clean, you could say, on a day by day by day, and actually moment by moment by moment basis. What dims our inner light is when we stop listening to ourselves, when we avoid our own counsel. What dims our inner light is when we distract ourselves into maladaptive things. What dims our inner light is when we lie to ourselves, all the little ways we lie to ourselves, when we avoid the next conversation that brings us into the light of truth. So in so many ways, life is change, and change is uncomfortable. And if we're really living in that emergent consciousness state, we're going to be learning to surf the waves of discomfort on a regular basis. If we're in the discomfort, if we're in the unknown, then we're in the emergent consciousness. And we're learning to face the challenges head on. And so I'm just inviting you here to see, okay, so what is that for you? What is that for you in this moment? Maybe there's the small level ones, and maybe you're aware of a root one that would be helpful to tap into. So I want to hear from you guys right now. What's going, like if you could name a root, what would that be? You can pop it in the chat bar. Survival, Anyana. Okay. So for you, survival is coming up. Okay. So that could be on many different levels, right? But okay, I need to feel protected and safe in my life. And so good. Betsy's disappointments. Lies. Social pressure, fear. Aloneness and not able to defend against the world. Security mindset, distractions, worry, insecurity, fear about where society is headed, lack. Oh, these are all so good. This is so good. Darkness from not trusting myself. Limitations, Allison. Artemis, wrong diet. Oh, great. Thinking of yourself first, not thinking of others. Wow. So then I'm going to ask you guys, and then I'll speak a little more to some of this. So if you were to give yourself a next right action, what would it be? If you were to give yourself a next right action, what would it be? Hold on, I'm just going to change something quickly. Oh, great. Next, trusting life. Ooh, juice fast. There you go, Artemis. Good. I love that. There's nothing like juicing to get ourselves to that place of inner clarity and reigniting the inner light that gets so congested with life and thoughts and emotions. Pray and practice every day. Trust my inner knowing and do it. Devotion. Next action. Breathe. Yes. Trusting the divine. Next right action. Scheduling more alone time. Love that. Family, parent issues coming up from childhood. That is such, Claire, a ripe place to be. That's such a right place to be. When those old issues come up, you know you're getting to some of the roots. So breathe through those. We're going to do a little breath practice in a minute. Accept failure. Molly's avoiding exercise, so take a baby step to do yoga today. Yes, I love that. And lean into the kinds of exercise things that you love. There's nothing really more important for all of us than moving our body every single day. Energy stagnates. When energy stagnates, the mind and the emotional beings start to get congested and stagnate too, and we simply can't see ourselves clearly. We can only read what we're experiencing. If our energy is heavy, it hasn't moved, the digestion's congested, and isn't moving, then our emotional mental being takes on the veiled qualities. It gets stuck. We stop thinking clearly. We stop seeing beyond our own self, and we start to get caught in that kind of quagmire, like that sinking sand feeling, So we have to move our bodies and we have to breathe deeply and consciously and consistently so that we can clear through the channels and activate the inner light and create that next level of radiance. And what follows that radiance is deep insight and deep intuition. And then when we're doing that and circumstances are happening around us and it looks like people are pretty crazy around us, we're not going to take it personally. If we're not taking it personally and we understand that I'm okay within myself, I am committed to showing up and taking care of my physical body, taking care of my energy, breathing deeply, taking care of the way I'm interacting with others so that I'm consistently showing up kind, I'm showing up loving, I'm showing up with compassion, I'm tapped into the qualities of life and being that are meaningful to me. I'm walking in right relationship with myself. I'm walking in right relationship with the world. This is what we have control over. If it would appear that all of this big change and turmoil is happening on the outside, and if we're thinking, well, I don't know where this world's going, it doesn't look like it's going in a good place. But if I'm whole and complete and I'm in right relationship, that's what I have control over. And where we perceive in the moment the world is going is just a perception in the moment. The yogis speak to there being worlds upon worlds upon worlds upon worlds. What does that mean? It means that each one of us in this moment has a perception of where the world is going. Each and every one of us has a perception. That's an entire possibility. And that's all it is. We can't know exactly where the world is going. We have a projection based on fear or based on the past. But is that really where the world is going? How can we know? What we can know is where our life is going because of our choices, because of our values, because of the ethical code that we have, because of our commitment to be the most radiant, vital version of ourselves. This is all what we have control over. And the more connected and radiant and tapped in we are, then the more we are infusing that energy into the collective field. That's where we become beacons of light. And as we connect in this way, as we are today, we are strengthening our own beacons of light are strengthening each other. We create a grid, we create a resonance through the unifying field of consciousness. And that resonance holds certain possibilities in it because of our choices. We are impacting the whole in every moment. If we are choosing to live in fear, in disappointment, in all of insecurity, in that kind of deep self-doubt, or if we are choosing to keep distracting ourselves, then we're not, in that moment, we're not really tapping to the full creative potential we have. And what if all we're meant to do in this life is to be the most radiant version of ourselves and influence in all the small ways we can influence those around us and the way the world is showing up around us. And then if we are steeped in that, and things happen in our immediate environment that are really challenging, we can still hold that steadiness because we've become so rooted in it, and we're so comfortable in the knowledge that in the knowledge of who we are, if you're comfortable in who you are, you're going to keep radiating that sense of connection into the field. If you're not comfortable with who you are, you're in the right place right now. Because the yoga tradition is built from people who studied consciousness, who studied what it means to be a human and a saint, both human and divine, you could say. How to nurture both human qualities and divine qualities. Human qualities meaning, how do we nurture the divine qualities through the human? How do we keep that essence of our humanity and be in the world but not lose the connection of our divinity? And they shared tools for us to follow a very progressive, systematic pathway to unfold the deeper levels of consciousness within us. That's sadhana. That's daily practice. That's getting on your yoga mat, doing the work to change your state, because nobody else can change your state for you. And if they can, it's momentary. And that's where addiction comes in. We seek things from outside of us to change our state. Is it just the dopamine hit from our phone? Is it a violent TV show that reflects that to us? Is it gossip? Is it speaking negatively of others to feel better about ourselves? Is it whatever it is, what is that? We need to know what those are for ourselves so that we can temper them, so that we can begin to take radical self-responsibility in the moment and not get caught in that, right? For me, embodying light in times of change is also embodying a lightheartedness. A lightheartedness. If we read the news, we're going to sense so often the sense of doom and gloom, or the sense of self-righteousness. I told you, or whatever it is that's being shown. We're going to see we're going to see these personalities at play on the great stage of life. And rather than looking at the situation with the eyes of compassion and understanding, wow, these different people who are in positions of incredible power are still not living from their full consciousness. They're not expressing their radiant self. I could actually hold compassion rather than anger, hatred, resentment, which are going to disturb my own field. It's a miracle that the Dalai Lama is still alive on this planet. It's a miracle that he's still teaching in the way that he is, and for everything that he has stood for throughout his life, the embodiment of compassion in times of change. Not allowing what is happening in the external world to shake us so that we lose our faith in life. Our faith in that essential eminence of light, of radiance. I remember sitting in a satsang in India, and somebody was asked, the teacher was asked a question about these times, and he said, I believe that light will always prevail. I believe that light will always prevail. We are made of light. There's a radiance within us. If we want to be able to upgrade on that deep energetic level, we have to be willing to go into the turbulence and allow ourselves to be churned up. We're going to churn ourselves up within practice to churn up those unresolved parts of ourselves to be reborn, or life is going to churn us up. Much rather that we take life on our terms, meaning we get up, we move, we churn ourselves to purify, much rather that than wait until life forces our hand. And if we're in a process of consciously churning ourselves on a regular basis and moving towards the discomforts that arise that are held in our egoic identity, our attachments, our aversions, our fears, we get caught in that. We get stuck in limitation, right? We want to keep churning these inner waters so that we can continue to polish all the different facets of ourself. Lakshmi, who is in the yoga tradition, this representation of, like, it's like the all shining one, the one who is the embodiment of pure nourishment. Lakshmi, pure nourishment. She's alive in every single one of us. How do we access that deep level of inner nourishment that serves us to walk in light, so that when life does challenge us, we're not shaken. We can turn to face that challenge, not in opposition, not in resistance, not by looking away, but just calmly facing. So much of what we fear is in the unconscious. If we turn to face it, it dissolves in front of us. And we recognize that we were afraid of fear itself, as opposed to there being something to be fearful of. And then we can live in that light of our higher consciousness. We can allow that emanation of self to be present in that circumstance. We can see through the eyes of love and compassion. When we feel threatened, we defend, we deflect, we move, we resist. If we are not threatened, we can hold space for extraordinary change in our lives and on a greater level, because we become like a steady force field in this unifying field of consciousness, right? It's possible for all of us. Practice, practice, practice. Do something every single day. We can start to get into these phases where life is just flowing. It feels like it's pretty good, and we stop doing so much practice, or something happens and we momentarily lose faith in the very things that are supporting this nourishing quality of radiance to keep building and flowering through us in our life. We momentarily lose faith. If we're practicing every day, and we can have faith in the management of our own body, of our own energy, of our life force, if we can have confidence in our capacity to place our attention in fruitful ways could be peace, our attention in a peaceful place, our attention in a positive place that brings joy, a place that invokes gratitude, a place that invokes that the capacity to see things holistically. If we can be doing that on a regular basis, now we can be steady in the face of change. So, do you need to work more on your body? Some of you reference cleansing. Do you need to work more on your energy body? Are you tending to find yourself feeling stuck? You need to work on your energy body. You need to get your navel stimulated. Are you feeling caught in mental patterns? If you're feeling caught in mental patterns, you've got to work with your breath. You've got to work with a mantra to start to cleanse and purify on that mental level. And so that, and then start to Pratipaksha Bhavana, it's called in the Yoga Sutras, direct your mind towards a more fruitful place. Turn your mind towards something that is pleasing to you, and not just momentarily pleasing, but deeply pleasing to you. I find myself do it. I find myself in avoidance. And there's just a certain amount of time that I'm going to allow myself to be in avoidance of, of something that's percolating in me. I'm aware something's percolating, it wants to be looked at, and I go into avoidance. We're all going to do that on some level or another. It's just how long are you going to allow yourself to be in avoidance? Because when you're in avoidance, you're blocking the flow of that inner radiance, of that fruitfulness from flowing through you, right? And when we can become radically honest in this way and not expect to be showing up in life perfectly, and be willing to forgive ourselves. Forgive meaning to be able to release ourselves from guilt, from shame, from any level of self-berating, and just be in acceptance of the moment, acceptance of the isness. Oh, I just caught myself avoiding again. Oh, I see I'm avoiding. Okay. What am I avoiding? What is going on the deeper level? Why don't I want to do this thing, that thing, the other thing? Why am I avoiding this? And then you allow that light of consciousness to come through. Unnamed guy, you're saying more body work without as much substitution of autistic anxiety drugs into more or less depression around me, doing the exact opposite. So more body work. Good. Get in the body. Trust the body. I love that. Jessica, when we gather all together, I'm strengthened and reminded to go beyond the stories we hear and tell ourselves, beyond the fear and chaos we may witness around us. I would return to presence. Absolutely. This is for me, we're in an era now where the spiritual warrior is not maybe the one, the warrior is not the one on the battlefield anymore. The warrior is the one who is sitting in that presence that Jessica's speaking to. That's the warrior. That's the spiritual warrior. That's our work. That's how we hold and stay committed to a certain presence, a certain luminosity, a certain light. We hold that. That's our strength. That's our greatest strength right there. Yes, Kelly, exactly. Your heart is beautiful, just being you. Exactly. Yes. So let's do a wonderful little practice together, and then let's tune in again afterwards and just see. It's just going to be 11 minutes. So less technology. Some of you are saying getting quiet. Faith in the basis of faith in self, acceptance, cultivating inner fire, setting loving boundaries. Great. So good, you guys. Trust, right? Wonderful. Opening the heart. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's do this practice. I've been doing this one lately. I just love it. I love it. I love it so much. We're going to use the mantra Satanama, infinity, life, death, rebirth. It's the same as Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshvara. It's this reflection of that which is the energy that is constantly being born, it manifests, it sustains, it dissolves. It's born, it manifests, sustains, dissolves. This moment arises, it dissolves. It arises, it dissolves. We're being born again in every moment that arises. Think of it. Here's the moment arising. It dissolves. Here it is again. It dissolves. Who am I choosing to be right now? That's what's manifesting. That's the pulsation in the field. Dissolves. Who am I right now? The pulsation in the field. It dissolves. Our attention is everything. Where are we placing our attention? This is ultimately what we're learning to do within the yogic practice, is that yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. We're learning to cultivate this calm focus and this calm steadiness of attention. And ultimately, what are we attending to? We're attending to that radiance of light within. And we turn our lens in, we attend to the radiance of light within until we become so infused with it that we are it no matter the circumstances, right? So that is the choice of tuning in to the radiance of our being, tuning into this moment of gratitude, of acceptance, of inspiration, of joyous becoming. I'm tuning in, it's manifesting, it dissolves. I'm tuning in, it's there, it dissolves. I'm tuning in. Can you see? We're just tuning in moment by moment by moment. And so that which we are tuning into in the moment is what is expressing through us. Modern scientists are now showing us, who are studying meditators particularly, that as we hold this steadiness of focus and we are tuning to gratitude, love, inspiration, whatever that may be that's arising in the moment, the physiology of our body is changing to reflect to that which we are tuning into moment by moment by moment. It doesn't take too long a period of attunement in that way to change your gut biome, your blood chemistry, your glandular secretions, the voltage of your cells, all of it. This is how we are building ourselves anew by that choice, what we tune to, what we tune to, what we tune to. Cultivating this deep capacity to embody the light within. So that embodiment is what is being expressed in the field. You become what you pay attention to. Wow. Just put that one on your mirror for a while. And next time you scroll, you're like, is that what I want to become? And maybe rather you just sit and look at a flower and you become absorbed in all the glory of the flower, or a branch of a tree and the way that the tree is expressing its creativity in that moment. Or you pick up a rock from the stream and you just get lost in the vortex of the rock. Much better place to place your attention, right? So just ways of being okay. Opening the heart, Artemis, yes. Opening the heart. Okay, that's what this is doing. We're tuning in to our capacity for compassion, for forgiveness, to be in the flow of grace. We're going to place our hands in this mudra. So see this? How can I do this best? These three fingers, so my little finger, ring finger, middle finger are together, pointing up. My index fingers crossed. You got that? And then my thumbs stretch away. That mudra is right at the heart center. Thumbs stretch away. And we're going to inhale in 4 strokes, 4 sniffs. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold for 4. Satanama. So just holding satanama. Exhale, 4 strokes out. That was sa, ta, na, ma as well. Hold out. Satanama. And then keep going like that. 4 strokes in as we mentally repeat satanama. Hold as we mentally repeat satanama. Exhale 4 strokes out. Sa, ta, na, ma. And then hold out. Satanama. Okay? Let's just have 11 minutes with this. Okay? And see where it takes you. And you're going to go through different layers of yourself. So expect that. And within those layers of the self, there may be moments of discomfort. Just trust the process. Let life itself start to move within you. Let the consciousness of this Shri, of all that's beautiful and auspicious, start to move within you. Become more of that and less of the rigidity of your personality. Become more of this emergent presence of light as you do this. It's just the last little digit of the finger that's connected, the index finger. Okay, heart center. Here we go. Eyes are closed, drawn to the third eye. Sniff 4 in. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sniff 4 out. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold out. Sa, ta, na, ma. 4 sniffs in. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold. Sa, ta, na, ma. Out. Sa, ta, na, ma. Hold out. Sa, ta, na, ma. And keep going at your pace. Let yourself get even deeper in the pauses of the breath. Deep inhale. Pause your breath, lift through your pelvic floor, hold steady. And exhale as you're ready. Release the arms, sit still, absolutely still. Drop your attention inside. Feel the area of your chest, your heart center. And sense everybody right here, right now, connecting through the unifying field of consciousness. There's no separation in the quantum level. We're all connected all the time. And as we connect here, let's bring in a prayer of greater luminosity within ourselves, greater voltage of light. And sense the power of that light within you. And sense the nature of this light. The more it radiates out, the more you sense that radiance, the more you realize that it's like the ever-flowing source. The more you give, the more you receive. Grateful for this presence of light. Grateful for our capacity to embody this light. And grateful for all the ways this light is reflected in our lives, in the choices you make, the way you love, the way you walk through life. And let yourself revel for a moment in this inner light. Become it. In the yoga tradition, the yogis point to the heart as the center of consciousness. And when mind and heart sync, the mind is following and attuning to the qualities of the heart. The heart is informing the mind. And we send a final prayer here. Prayer, may all beings be lifted from suffering. May all beings recognize their true nature, this light of love. And as you're ready, you can gradually come back into the space. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just note the shift in the quality of your energy. I note it for myself. It's a feeling of grounded radiance, right? And we get to see you see, our mind works very fast. The mind is extraordinarily fast as a mechanism. And it can so quickly take us out of our body. And when we come into the body, when we come into our heart energy especially, that sense of urgency that the mind can bring leaves, and we get to feel the same expansiveness that the mind carries, but in an embodied way. And we can attune ourselves to that sense of radiant wholeness. And that, for me, carries a quality of fulfillment to it. I'm not needing more in the moment than what I'm experiencing. And if we want to let go of the ghosts of the past, if we want to let go of the ever-consuming inner ghost, we want to be able to hold this settled, expansive heart radiance. Then we're not going to keep feeding the ghosts, right, of the mistaken self. We will be able to hold ourselves in that radiance and then begin to walk in better and better, more refined, right relationship with the world around us, not grasping in the same ways. So thank you for coming into this little experiment with me here today. Stable, calm, radiance, Maggie. Yes. Molly. Megan. Brain feels so clear, connected, and grounded, right? Different quality to it. It's like the higher mind quality that is pure awareness. It's the acquired, it's the surface mind that is constantly in the process of acquiring something new. The higher mind is pure luminous awareness, where the flow of wisdom arises. Doesn't take much time to change and elevate our state. It just doesn't, right, Mark? It just doesn't. And in the busyness of our lives, or if we have a very strong mind, it's remembering to come back and pop into the 11-minute practice. Maybe we do have to do a practice 3 times a day to keep us in and to train ourselves to hold that heart stability, heart energetic stability for longer and longer periods of time. No ghost feeding here, Jessica. Great. Oh, thank you, Susie. Yes. I don't know what this mudra is called, Brian. It doesn't have a name that I know. I bet my friend Sienna Sherman would know. She's a genius on heart mudras, especially heart mudras. But this, I don't know what it's called. But it's in essence a mudra that helps to cultivate this quality of deep, calm radiance. Needed to get still, Lauren, right? Isn't that? It's probably the case for all of us. We really needed that stillness. So we have the access point, and then we can, once it's come, we can access it, we can maintain that moving forward. We lose it again, we come back in a practice that helps us to stabilize there. We move forward, we lose it again, we come back until we're holding it for longer and longer periods of time without losing it, that continuity of a certain quality of presence. Ooh, Daniela, I'm so good. You're tapping into the higher creativity, empowered to co-create with the divine. Exactly. You are experiencing a new level of freedom for a reason, and your soul can step forward into that. I love it. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, guys. Michelle. Reveling in the beauty way. Oh, I love that. Remembering all the miracles in everyday life. The beauty way. I love it. It does look like an offering lotus mudra. I love that, Anyana. Yes. Which part of the mantra corresponds to which part of life? Sa, infinity, ta, life, na, death, ma, rebirth, satanama, infinity, life, death, rebirth. And the ah running through it is the consistency of consciousness. You see that it's like the line you often see in the Devanagari or the Sanskrit script. The line that's that continuity, that expression of consciousness. Ah, I'm so glad, Claire. Yes, embodying your radiance again. Good. Tammy, body calming, divine timing. Grateful. Yes. Anyana. Oh, yes, exactly. You guys who are transitioning jobs right now, you are in an opportunity to co-create with the divine. There's an extraordinary quickening happening. All those beautiful, sensitive souls who are sensitive to the dimensional shifts, who are sensitive to all the different uh, uh, shifts in energy are speaking to it. And you may be experiencing this, which is why, even though you may be a dedicated practitioner, you may still be needing to practice more right now because we are upgrading so quickly. And it can be hard for the known self to keep up with how quickly we're evolving and changing. So keep practicing so that you can have these times of integration. In this big shakeup, there's evolution happening, and you want to catch that wave of evolution, and you catch it by getting still and present in these ways. So yes to that. Wonderful. Well, I'm grateful to you all as a community. Thank you for showing up and co-creating this experience with me and being in a discussion of staying lit in times of change, maintaining that inner radiance. And let's keep it up. And remember, when you tune in to yourself in this elevated state, you're tuning in with all of us in this elevated state. And when we're aware of that, we keep strengthening this grid that we are in this relative reality that we're calling the world. We, each of us, as we connect, we're creating this strengthening of a certain grid of energy. So thank you for being here and doing your practice, and sending you so much love. I look forward to connecting again with you soon. I'm about to leave to Khajuraho, India, my favorite place to go for deep personal practice. I'm taking a group there, and we are going to do pretty much exactly what we just did in over and over and over and over again, and cultivating a deep inner stability. And I will be tuning to you all as I'm there in this very spiritually energized space. So we'll be still co-creating in the field. And I'll be in India until the 20th of March. And so expect more coming in March and April as myself and my team keep developing the next level of Radiant Body Yoga and how we want to create more levels of connection between us, more levels of support. And yeah, so I'm so looking forward to that. Much love to you all. Stay in touch. And we have a self-mastery module coming up in June if you want to be looking ahead to see when you can do a next deep dive. So much love to you. Satnam.